All right. Welcome to our meeting tonight. I believe it's August meeting. Doesn't seem like the summer's over yet, but there's students out here who beg to differ, I think. And so welcome, everybody. We've been in executive session. No business was conducted. And so we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. Keller will lead us in that. Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And with that, I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda as published. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote.
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Yes. And now we're up to public participation. I don't know if we've got one. Please state your name and address and keep it to 3 minutes, if you would, please.
There we go. Hello, my name's Cade. I live at 490 Emmaus Road, and I'm a senior at the Early College High School here in Marysville. The reason I am here today is just I wanted to ask for a bit more clarity, and also I just wanted to discuss the new board policy regarding phone policies that is required now due to House or Senate Bill 158. So I know that in the actual law, it says that the policy should prohibit all cell phone use except as described in Division C, which says that students may be permitted to use cellular telephones or other electronic communication devices for student learning or to monitor and address a health concern. So I know in the board policy that was emailed out to families, it said that students may be able to use cell phones and other electronic devices for documented educational purposes. I believe that it would still be compliant with the law if that was changed to educational purposes. As a student, I think that the way, especially at the Early College High School where I go to school, it's a very we're using a lot of different technology, including our phones, in our educational policy. I think that it is a good thing that phones are separated from the actual class instruction, and kids should not be on their phones when they need to be paying attention to that class instruction. But if phones are a part of that instruction, or if phones are part of instruction for kids like me who are taking online college classes or college classes on campus in which phones are required, I think that it would be beneficial to allow the use of that for educational purposes. The second thing is just going back to my issue of clarity. I think from what I've heard from teachers and administrators just in these last few days since the school year has started, it seems that there's some differences in understanding of what the actual policy is. And I know that some teachers are much more strict about it, some teachers are not as strict, but also just like things about whether headphones are allowed. Some teachers say they are, some teachers say they aren't, right? That's a valuable piece of technology that I use when I'm watching videos for my classes. Recently I've been doing studying for the SAT, and so when I'm watching videos or things for that, headphones are very important. I don't think kids should be able to listen to music or something during classes, but yet again, going back to the educational purpose, documented or not, I think if it is helpful and beneficial for kids, it should be allowed. I think that's it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, we are on to our presentation from Marysville FFA. You need to push that little button there. There you go.
Okay, well, thank you guys for letting us do a presentation on our chapter today. My name's Natalie Williams. I'm the current vice president of our chapter.
My name's Madison Works, and I'm our chapter reporter.
So we just want to talk a little bit about our chapter right now. We do things from inside the shop, welding, to outside the shop, creating floral arrangements, doing dissections. We go on different field trips, whether they're fun field trips, like we'll go to like trampoline parks, or they're educational field trips. And then every year we do have goals for ourselves. And this year our number one goal was to get top 10 in the nation. And we did succeed in that, and we are top 10 in the nation in the category strengthening agriculture. So we don't know what place we are until October, so we're hoping to get number one on that.
Okay, on to our student leadership teams. Our 2025-2026 officer team has been elected. They go through a series of interviews to be selected for their positions. And then the same with our assistant officers. They go through a series of interviews with us, and then they get slated after they've been elected. Here are some things that we've been up to this summer.
So actually one of the activities that I actually just got back from with all of the senior officers was the Washington Leadership Conference. It was a leadership conference in Washington, D.C., and I got to meet people from all over the nation, every state. I did have like this booklet thing where I had the whole U.S. map where I could shade in each state that I met someone. I'm pretty sure there was like 2 states that I couldn't shade in, so that was really cool to get to meet all of those people. We did a lot of like community service activities, packaging food, so that was really cool to get to experience that.
We just had the Union County Fair, and a lot of our members exhibited at the fair, and we also held a youth general livestock judging competition, and this is more of a learning experience than like a competition. We did award prizes, but we had a certified judge there to help us, and we got to teach younger generations and just get them involved. This is what we're excited for this year.
So we have our Wreaths Across America activity, so where we get to lay wreaths on veterans' graves at the local cemetery. We did this last year for the first year, and we realized that there wasn't enough wreaths for every veteran's grave. So this year we're trying to fundraise to help our goal is to lay wreaths on every veteran's grave, but that's really going to be hard to accomplish, but we're going to at least try to get most of them. So we're excited to get to participate in that.
Coming up soon in September is Chapter Leadership Camp, which is a 3-day-long leadership camp at Ohio FFA Camp Muskingum. We're extremely excited for this. Our chapter officers will lead different sessions and activities that our chapter gets to participate in, and it really helps our chapter just bond with one another and get younger members more involved. Food for America is an activity that our chapter has participated in for many years. Members will go to Creekview and teach the 5th graders about where their food comes from and the process in which it's needed to help get to them. Last year we did pizza, so we had different stations that all was just like a part of how you make the pizza. So we had a sauce station, a bread station, cheese, meats, and other toppings. And it was really fun for them to be able to like see how it all comes together.
So this past May at State Convention, we had a lot of different accomplishments. Our chapter was gold rated, and 5 of our members got their state FFA degree, and our 3 eligible officers were gold rated officers, and our chapter earned the Charitable Giving Award. And then also we wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Chafin. He received his honorary state FFA degree. We're hoping to have more state FFA degree recipients this May too.
Here's some of our upcoming events. We have a new member meeting coming up next week, which will just inform our new members and their parents about what to expect from our chapter and how that they can help their kid get involved.
Picnic with the Pros is coming up in October. It's an activity that we do at the school. We have like a lunch on a Friday, and we kind of just students get to connect with business professionals and kind of make connections, and kind of like they can either see, if they're freshmen, maybe try to figure out what they want to do after high school, and maybe if they're like a junior, senior, they can try to find internship options. It's really great to get to connect with different businesses within that. And then also Cowboy Prom's coming up next month as well. It's a new activity that we're doing this year. It's a prom, but it's going to be a fundraiser for our chapter. We're going to have food, live music. It'll be it's statewide, so any FFA member from all over the state can come. So we're really excited to get to connect with members from all over the state.
And then coming up in October is National Convention, where our chapter will go to Indianapolis and find out if we made top chapter in the nation.
All right, well, thank you for all of your time. We really appreciate you guys letting us come here and talk about our chapter today. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Any questions for these ladies? Put them on the hot seat? Guess not. Okay. We're down to, or up to the superintendent's report.
Okay. Thank you, President Keck and Board. Board, I thought I'd share an enrollment update with you to start off. First of all, currently we have 5,743 students enrolled as of the start of this school year. This is an increase in enrollment over last year at this time by 139 students. We have enrolled or have them in the hopper as they are being enrolled a total of 607 new students in grades K through 12 as of the start of the school year. In comparison, we were at 631 last year at this time. An update regarding the Mini Monarch Academy. We have 206 preschool students enrolled at the Mini Monarch Academy. We refer to that in-house as MMA. Last year, we served 79 pre-K students at Naven Elementary. This is an increase of an additional 127 students served by our district, with all being housed at the Mini Monarch Academy. An HR update for you, Board. We've had 140 positions to be filled leading into the school year. Of those 140, we are still working to fill 8 positions. We have a custodian position. We have 3 school psych positions, 1 part-time physical therapist, 1 speech language pathologist, and 2 aide positions to fill. You might ask how many staff members we have currently in part-time or full-time equivalents. The answer to this is currently we have 683 individuals that are part of our MEVSD family. Scott Philibom is going to be providing an HR presentation to you all next month, where he will provide a breakdown of our organizational structure and a more detailed explanation of our hiring status. With regard to cell phone policy, Cade, thank you for being here this evening. I wanted to share with you, Board, that under the policy section of the Board of Education items on this evening's agenda, there are 6 policies that are up for a second reading. These are primarily legislative changes that are required to be updated. In addition, there is a JFCK policy titled Use of Electronic Communications Equipment by Students that is up for a one-and-done reading. Ohio schools were previously required to limit distractions from students' use of cell phones during the school day as part of House Bill 250. Our district put measures in place last year. However, with the recent passage of the budget bill, districts are mandated to prohibit the use of cell phones during the school day by January 1 of 2026. Altogether, with a few exceptions, with one being carved out for students needing to use electronic devices for medical needs. This requirement aims to minimize distractions and foster a more focused learning environment. It's very difficult to change course mid-year, and our district, like many others, is putting this policy in place prior to January 1. There has been a ton of research analyzed, and I'd encourage our stakeholders to read a book titled The Anxious Generation if they would like to learn more about the data around this issue. In 2011, as an example, 77% of teens had a phone, but just 23% had a smartphone. When I got, I said 2017, but that was actually 2011. When they got a smartphone, they could be online all the time. And by 2016, 79% of teens owned smartphones, and this included 28% of students between the ages of 8 and 12. Since the addition of smartphones, episodes of depression in teens has increased nearly 2.5 times. I personally believe that the elimination of cell phones during the school day will help eliminate distractions and allow our students to remain more focused on school with the adoption of this policy. The policy that is before you to approve this evening is the ODE model policy, by the way. Also, Board, I'd like to share an update on transportation. We have an awesome team of drivers. Dr. Kara Jackson and I were there to see them on Monday morning prior to their AM routes. One would think that on the very first day there would be a sense of nervousness, but to the contrary, the overwhelming sense of preparedness and excitement was palpable. Huge thank you to Todd Amos and his team in the office for the work that they've done to be organized and prepared from day one. People may not know this, but every morning our drivers, well in advance to departure, do pre-trip checks, including walkarounds and bus inspections to ensure the buses are safe and in good operating condition. I want to recognize our lead mechanic, Aaron Thompson, and our assistant, Carrie Hissey. Our buses need to pass inspection every year, and our fleet is in good shape, largely in part to these two. So at the beginning of the school year, Board, we were prepared to route 3,700 students. Our current numbers show that we have 3,100 actually riding. This will allow us to dial in faster to make our service more efficient. Board, as you know, we're required to approve the routes and services we commit to prior to the start of the school year, and these are largely in response to our drivers' capacity. We're always looking to onboard new drivers, and we'd love to be able to strategically expand on our services with the addition of a few more drivers. At the start of every year in districts everywhere, there are challenges on the first few days with transportation, and we will continue to adjust and tweak our processes to be efficient as possible so our kids that ride the bus are on them for as little time as possible. But overall, we are light years ahead of where we were last year at this time, and our start has been overwhelmingly positive. Creekview, as an example, presents some challenges because of the limited space to hold our buses for onboarding students. So the team at Creekview dismisses buses in waves and calls out the students out of the building accordingly to maintain a safe environment. I was there yesterday, and our team is tracking the order that our buses arrive. They know which buses are in the lot and which buses are trailing behind. But within 15 minutes, most of our buses were safely loaded and returning students home. I'm grateful for the coordination that I see between the buildings and the transportation department. We're going to keep trying to improve our service, but I'm very pleased with where we are, given that it's the first week of school. And last, Board, I'd like to share some appreciation. I certainly would love to thank our custodians and maintenance teams for their work that they have done all summer to create and welcoming school environment for our school stakeholders. The buildings do look good. Last, I need to acknowledge the work that Jonathan Langhouse did while serving as the interim superintendent over the summer. He's now off to a great start at Northwood Elementary as the building principal, and we're lucky to have him here. Dr. Kara Jackson and Scott Philbaum have quickly settled into their roles as the assistant superintendent and HR director, respectfully. And I know that you're only as good as the people around you, and I've learned that we have great people working for the district. This is a great place to be, and thank you, board. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, just an observation. We've got 3,100 students that we're busing, and we've got 5743, I think, or 46, something like that. So we're busing more than 50% of our student body. I will tell Kate, I almost reached for my calculator on my phone to figure out a closer percentage, but I didn't. And so I just did the 50% in my head, so we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And ready for the treasurer's report.
Okay, I have a very brief update. I'll wait till next month for a longer one. So as you're aware, the five-year forecast timeline has changed, as well as it's no longer a five-year forecast. It's what they call a three-year forecast. It's really a four-year because it's the current year plus 3 years. What I'll be presenting next month will be a five-year forecast, unless the board has any reservations about that. I'll present as normal, but what I submit to the state will be under the what they've prescribed. And then with the new deadline being October 15th, I'll be presenting that in September, which is much sooner than I'd prefer. The earlier you're presenting it, the harder it is to be accurate because there's just that many more variables that we don't know. We won't even know our true state funding until October. So a lot of variables. We do know that there was the reappraisal, and we've seen that projected value increases around 26.5. So that we'll be talking about that next month with the five-year forecast and some of the changes that will present. One thing that I think a lot of people might be wondering with that large increase, and it's something we've talked about with the way an emergency levy works. So we just recently passed that $5.5 million levy. So when it comes time for that to start collecting next year, it won't be collecting at 5.5 mils. So because of those values increase significantly, you'll see a much lower millage, probably in the range of maybe 4.3 mils. So that effective millage will go down. And that's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right, let's see, we're to the board president's report. I guess that's me. The convocation was held at the high school auditorium this year, and I heard it was the best in many. Tuesday, August 12th, Mrs. Savage was there on my behalf and the board to start the school year 25-26. It was great to have students participate in the ceremony. The band and choir performed for the staff and helped to make the event festive. Our cheerleaders and FFA students were there, as well as to help welcome our staff back. Dave Herman, retired Marysville High School biology teacher, was invited back to share some of his wisdom with the staff, primarily focusing on getting to know your students and putting relationships first. We're excited to see our staff back in the buildings, and we hope that they have a great school year. And just on a personal note, I got to watch a lot of that from my easy chair on Facebook and other places, and looked very exciting. So appreciate your effort in kicking us off correctly. Then I would be amiss if I didn't say the following. Our Marysville FFA chapter is once again recognized in 25 as a National Chapter Award Program from the National FFA Organization. They were given a 3-star ranking, with less than 10% of the chapters nationwide earning this designation. But even more, we learned that they are a top 10 chapter across the entire nation. Our Marysville chapter is only only Ohio chapter in the list. Sherry Anderson, who is here tonight, and Justin Beckner and Ashley Thompson teach in the program, and that's at the high school. As a retired FFA teacher, I am very proud of them and the work and our great kids are doing in the ag program. And I know they sweated over tonight, and I would have too, but it's pretty neat. Some interesting facts. I taught with Mrs. Anderson for 15 of 21 years that she has been teaching ag, and I taught with Ashley Thompson for 13 of her 19 years. And I'd like to say that I taught them everything I know, but obviously they've taken our ag program a lot further than anything I was able to do. And I'm very proud of that. They've been joined by a third excellent teacher, Justin Beckner, and they now have more than 300 students enrolled at the high school level. We also have an exceptional middle school program headed by Mary Gift, if I said that name right, with another 140 students. And those numbers I'm giving you, there's some overlap with students, so it may be higher than that, it may be lower than that. So anyway, Sherry Anderson will be providing a report this evening. We knew that. So that's my report for tonight. Any questions?
No questions, but I just wanted to add about the community coffee this past Sunday. So we had a couple Spanish-speaking families coming in looking for assistance in starting out the new year, and in July we had two Indian families, I believe, come in looking for assistance. So I think that maybe this English as a second language support may be something that we're going to need to focus on moving into the school year. But they were very excited and very appreciative of all the information we were able to provide. And thank you for your follow-up, Dr. Howard.
Great.
Yeah, if I can, members of the FFA were at convocation greeting teachers and administrators, and that's very much appreciated and noticed. And that I want to compliment Dr. Howard. A lot of times convocations can be rather boring, and certainly Mr. Herman did a nice job of providing a little bit of laughter, but I thought it was a streak of inspiration to bring the cheerleaders and the marching band in, and after the band and the cheerleaders performed, it would have been very difficult to get any sleep in the convocation. It certainly got everybody's attention, so well done.
All right. Student Achievement Report by Matt Keller.
I attached the OSBA success newsletter and the student achievement document I have for everyone. The one thing that just stuck out to me, they presented some data, how kindergarten reading data is improving, specifically from COVID. That really doesn't surprise me because many kids were not in the classroom at that time. It did not say whether that was Ohio data or some national data, but that was one thing that stuck out to me. And I'd be remiss if I did not compliment Mrs. Savage and whoever her Spanish teacher was in high school. She could speak some Spanish on Sunday. I could not help out at all.
High school Spanish. Don't say it's not useful.
Yeah. Let's see, and we have a legislative report in English, I hope, from Mrs. Savage.
Yes, of course. So legislative report, I just want to hit on a couple things. So the state budget is done. We're approving policies that are coming through the state budget. I think we have 7 policies, all of them related to things that happen through the budget, and we are actually moving forward with quite a bit of potential legislation coming up, and I will have more detailed information in the upcoming months, but as these bills start to be moved onto the platform, the cell phone policy is one that is getting a lot of attention. but also there's potential legislation related to paying for additional money for transporting kids to private schools. So that's going to be another one that's going to be kind of out there up for debate in the public forum. So, thank you.
And let's see here, that's about it. We need a motion to approve the draft minutes.
So moved?
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve the draft minutes. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote.
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes?
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Keck?
Yes. And with that, we need to, let's see, approval of we need a motion to approve the Board of Education goals and work plan for 25-26.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve the Board of Education goals and work plan for 25-26. And is there any discussion on that? I would just like to say thank you to Nan for the work she's put in on that.
I would like to say thank you for everyone for the feedback that was given. The goals aren't drastically different from what we had established previously. However, we did put emphasis on the facilities planning step that's going to be taking place over this year and into future years. That's going to be a primary focus for our board as we're moving forward, along with continued communication with the public in regards to all the economic development activities within the district and our involvement in that. Now, this is just a start. The board will have to have further discussion, probably in a work session, to discuss kind of exactly what we want these goals to look like in an action plan. So we'll be doing that probably in the September timeframe.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote.
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes?
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Keck?
Yes. And let's see here. The next one is to approve policies, board policies. Is that I need a motion to approve the board policies as published.
So moved?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Six of them are pretty straightforward. The one on cell phones got my grandson's attention. And so we had a conversation about that. And I appreciate the presentation that was made during the public participation portion. The comments were well-spoken, articulate, and very much appreciated. I know as a teacher, you have to follow policies, and one of the things that sometimes, and I think was even pointed out, there can be issues in terms of what a policy means and how a policy is implemented and when something is consistent, an action is consistent with the policy. And I think there are, there's no doubt cell phones are part of everybody's life, and trying to make sure that cell phones are used in an appropriate manner creates a number of issues within the school district. And some students, if left to their own decision-making, would use those in a very appropriate manner. Others might struggle. Some may use them to create harmful situations and so forth. And so I know that The policy we will adopt is arguable in terms of a number of different points, but as a former teacher, I think I appreciate the specific clarity that the phones are not to be used. And there may be good reasons too, but if someone is using a phone, from a teaching standpoint, it's difficult to know whether that is an appropriate use or not an appropriate use. And so I appreciate the comments that were made. They were, very well presented. But for me, I think looking at it from more of an administrative role, can we be clear as a district where the line is drawn and when it's appropriate and when it's not appropriate? I think the policy moves toward that direction. And I know there will still be issues with implementation. Everything takes time to get everybody on the same page.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I'll ask a question for Cade. In my time, he asked about the what is documented, what is not. It's my understanding that the documented is a 504 education plan. I just wanted to see if Dr. Howard wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, that's correct. It would be individuals that might have a 504 or an IEP, primarily for medical, to monitor, medical, reasons for having them. There may be some cases where they're needed for an IEP for maybe assisting with hearing, translations, things like that, but those would be documented in their an IEP or 504.
The follow-up question is headphones allowed?
So one of the things that, Board, you know is that we do have Chromebooks for every student, so we are a one-to-one district. There are times where you may need them for testing, where you would still need to have headphones, associated with some of the online curriculum. So headphones itself, we wouldn't necessarily consider a technology device, so that would be appropriate. But like Cade said, we shouldn't be listening to Snoop Dogg or. Okay.
Thank you for those answers. I will say, when I had the privilege of being invited to the Governor DeWine's, State of Address, and when he announced that the cell phone ban was coming down the pipeline, everyone stood up and clapped, and then we sat back down and got back on our phones to tweet or whatever else we were doing. And I did make a joke to some of my people I was around, like, hey, we're all on our phones here. But this policy is very important. The data it does support this. I will say my kids don't have cell phones, but these Chromebooks, there's YouTube and there's distractions. And so I know this policy only speaks to the cell phone usage, but I think we just need to be mindful of screen times in general and the access to distractions. And I know there's things in place, but kids will find a way with Google Docs to text each other or YouTube or things to be distracted with the Chromebooks that we have. And so just be mindful. I know the teachers deal with it way more than we will ever here on this board, but it's an ever-moving target to try to figure out how to keep kids focused and on task, and this policy helps aid in that to help make it a more clear, clean playing field. So,
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, let's take a vote.
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes?
Mr. Cap?
Yes. And now we need a motion to approve the resolution to repair and purchase the replacement parts for cooling tower at Mill Valley Elementary.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we pass this resolution to replace that cooling tower. Is there any discussion? Any information? Yeah, please.
So what I've been told is this cooling tower is dying a slow death, and it's basically having to be babied every single day to make sure we're still being able to keep that building cool. So this is, again, we're not replacing the entire cooling tower, but we're fixing the part that's leaking. We're going through the COG, which ensures we get a competitive bid type price. So.
And this comes out of the permanent improvement fund and not operating funds?
Correct.
And they took into the account that temperatures are going down now next week, and we won't be needing air conditioning this year. And you talk about cell phones. If we don't have air conditioning in those buildings, there will be a mass exodus. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote.
Mr. Smith?
Yes?
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Keck?
Yes. And on air conditioning, most people don't think of that as heating. We have a resolution to purchase and replace the rooftop units for early college high school, which are both heating and cooling. Again, that's through COG. Need a motion to approve that resolution.
So moved?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on that?
Yeah, so these are essential, like you said, it's not just the heating or the cooling, it's both. There are some of these that actually are not even functioning at all. This was part of the originally planned permanent improvement replacement schedule. This was also, when we did that HPM presentation of their urgent needs, this was one of those. So this is a need that was known and we're taking care of out of the PI fund, as noted.
All right. Seeing no discussion, we'll take a vote on that.
Mr. Smith?
Yes?
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Keck?
Yes. And now we need a motion recommended to approve the severance memorandum of understanding for the Transportation Department.
So moved?
A second?
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the severance memorandum. Any discussion?
This is just an item that has been overlooked in the transportation agreement for quite a few years, and it's just not been an issue because it had never been an issue. We'd not have someone retire that was eligible for severance. What this MOU does is gives those transportation employees the same benefit that our current classified employees would have.
I think that's very appropriate. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote.
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes?
Mr. Keck?
Yes. And let's see, that takes us to the treasurer's report, not report, but action items.
So moved.
We need a recommendation to approve all those items.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second?
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve all the treasurer's action items. Any discussion?
It's really just your normal items for tonight. The only thing I'd point out is that the cash flow, this is the first month of the new fiscal year, so you won't see any variances, and it's updated based on the previous May forecast, so this will be updated again pretty soon when we get to the September forecast.
Okay. Seeing any further discussion, we'll now proceed to vote.
Mr. Smith?
Yes?
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Keck?
Yes. And now we need a motion to approve the recommendations of the superintendent action items as listed below.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on these action items, and did you have any comments there on that?
Yeah, I'll be brief here. Board, we have human resources items that are attached. We're asking you to approve our listed volunteers. We have a few early college, high school, early graduates. We have Marysville High School early graduate listed. We have always pleased to welcome student teachers and field placements because they're potentially future teachers for us, but we're asking you to approve the individuals listed there. Asking you to approve the letter advising of the annual certification. This is a yearly requirement from our food service department. We have a request to approve impracticality of transportation for the individuals listed. There is an overnight trip that we're asking you to approve for boys lacrosse coming up in the spring. And then we have a one-day, it is an out-of-state trip involving our FFA students that will be visiting KYI Metalworks, and that is in Kentucky. Again, that is just an out-of-state trip. They'll be back the same day, but we're asking the board to approve that.
Any other discussion? I would like to say all those trips that we're approving are paid for by the students or families, not board paid for.
That's correct.
Okay. Seeing no discussion, we'll now proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes?
Yes. And now we're to my favorite part, the comments and questions from board members. And we'll start down here with Mr. Ferguson.
Nothing tonight. Have a great school year.
And Mrs. Savage.
I would like to take a minute to welcome everyone back. The teachers, the staff, 638. All 638 of you are welcome back. Thank you for being here. Also, I would like to say, again, thank you for the convocation. I thought it was very hopeful and invigorating. I love the band. I love the cheerleaders. I love the choir. The choir did a beautiful job. And Mr. Herman was very funny. So that was very enjoyable. I've got tons of positive feedback about that. So wonderful. Congratulations to FFA on the top 10. That is absolutely fabulous. And it's just the start of top programs launching for this year.
And Mr. Keller.
It's been mentioned, and I'll mention it again, a big thank you to transportation, to all the staff welcoming the kids back. Also, I'd like to mention our athletic department and high school administration. I thought our community event on Sunday to announce all our athletic teams, it felt very positive. Many times our athletic teams feel a bit segregated, but to have them all walking across the same field and cheering for each other and being recognized, that felt positive. I hope we can keep the momentum going throughout the year.
Mr. Smith.
On the first day of school, the freshmen come to the high school, and we're mentioning the FFA, but they're there. Student council is there to answer questions and help the freshmen get acclimated to the building before the other 3 grades come in. And I know that it takes a couple of days in the elementaries for essentially half to come one day and half the students the next. And so I appreciate, the beginning of school, the attempt to try to make it as smooth and as comfortable for new students. At the convocation, when all of the new teachers, staff, and the staff that were getting reshuffled all stood up and so forth, I got a sense that there was an invigoration, an energy, an excitement, and I hope that carries through. And I wish all of our staff the very best for a great year.
And I think I've said enough tonight, so with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Being a privileged motion, we'll go right to a vote. All those in favor?
Mr. Smith?
Yes?
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
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 Yes, and thanks to everybody tonight.